praise your name. When times of need carry on, I will praise your name. I will praise your name. Though darkness falls all around, I will praise your name. I will praise your name. If I forget what I found, I will praise your name. I will praise your name. For you are faithful, Lord, you lift my head. You're my provider, you're my strength and joy. I'll trust you, Lord. I'll worship you. I love you, Lord. I'll honor you. Lord, I will lift up my soul. I will praise your name. I will praise your name. If I feel lost and alone, I will praise your name. I will praise your name. Though I may labor in vain, I will praise your name. I will praise your name. Through all the heartache and pain, I will praise your name. I will praise your name. For you are faithful, Lord, you lift my head. You're my provider, you're my strength and joy. I'll trust you, Lord. I'll worship you. I love you, Lord. I'll honor. I will trust you, Lord. I'll trust you, Lord. I'll worship everything I say. I love you, Lord. I'll honor you. I'll trust, never let me go. I'll worship, never let me down. I'll love, forever I will love you. I'll love, I'll trust every hour, every day. I'll worship, that's why I worship you. I'll love, I will praise you, Lord. I'll honor you. Lord, I will lift up my song. I will praise your name. I will praise your name.
Hallelujah. Let Lord shine forth. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us. And thank you very much for joining us on another live stream. Sorry, there are some side things on here. I do hope everyone is well. And before I just start, can I just gently encourage those of you who are in the chat, please keep your comments or your rebuttals, whatever you would call that, on the topic we are discussing, please do not insult individuals. Freedom of speech is welcomed, but insult sometimes doesn't go under the freedom of speech, so that you don't get blocked or you don't get time out. Because once you get blocked or once you get timed out, you send me emails and it just not help. Like I can't do anything about it because I'm not in the chat, and I do trust brothers and sisters in the chat who makes that judgment to block you or time you out. If you don't want to be blocked and if you don't want to be timed out, please follow the principles. Like all the disagreements are very welcomed, all the rebuttals very welcomed, but do not kind of cross the line. There is a line, and sometimes you do cross that line. When you cross that line, that you get timed out or blocked. And also please, there is no need for you to write the same or copy and paste the same sentence like 50 times in 1 minute. No need for that. Once it has been put, I am sure it will be seen by individuals and by others, and I can already see like there is one sentence just 4 times just went up there. Anyway, 6 times now. One sentence just went up there 6 times by Samson. Anyway, so how is everyone? I take usually silent as I am okay. I take that formula. Before I start, peace of Christ be with you, brother Rebel Mark. Before I start, just prayer request. Some of brothers in the body of Christ are not doing very well, and my risen Lord knows them by their name. Can I just gently encourage those of you who's got time, please do pray for unwell brothers and sisters in the body of Christ, that will of Lord will come forth. So now, let's get on with the business. Peace of Christ be with you, daughter of Christ. I really don't understand while I am on live stream. What are you doing in the chat by doing chit chat? Not helpful at all. Okay. So, on Sunday at Speaker's Corner, I was exposed that I've been lying about the Quran. You know that first 26 different Arabic Qurans and then 37 different Arabic Qurans. Apparently there is only one Quran, and already Muslims are discrediting Muslim scholars. And I think it was around lunchtime. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched half of the video, which was done by Anthony Rogers on Acts 17 apologetics. Just summarizing scholarly view on perfect preservation of different Arabic Qurans. Anyway, so if you haven't watched it, it is like you've got to eat you've got 5 day a thing to eat, like apple, all those kind of things. So that's like one of the things you must watch before you go to bed today, because we don't know, we might wake up tomorrow or we might not wake up tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. It is done very well by Anthony Rogers. Only there is like another short clip. I think it would be much good if he edit that, but hopefully that will be next one. So please do watch that video. Acts 17 apologetics, but it came today, done by Anthony Rogers. So anyway, on Sunday I got exposed on the now there is only one Quran, and it's same all that junk you get to hear, dot by dot, letter by letter junk. And in that conversation, brother Riaz, thank you for putting the link. Really, really appreciate that. Here's the link for today's video. Do watch it before you go to bed, because you might not make tomorrow. You don't want to get the bosom of the Father without watching this. So it's like one must watch video. And I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, so I get to hear this awesome story that there is one Quran perfectly preserved wherever you go. It's exactly the same, and all Qurans have the same thing, all those kind of things. Sometimes it becomes very difficult to explain people when, like, they look into your eyes and they lie to you. They know, here's the thing, okay? They know they know they are lying. They know they are lying. They know Allah knows they are lying. Still they lie. It's one of those moments. So when this gentleman was telling me half Quran has been perfectly preserved, and soon after I kind of expressed him, even Muslim scholars tells us there are holes in the story of the completion of the Quran, and then Muslims simply, oh, who cares what that scholar says? Who cares what that scholar says? They wanted to follow Muslim missionaries from Speaker's Corner. I was pointed out to go and speak with Muslim missionary. Anyway, but in that conversation, I expressed, actually, according to the Islamic tradition, Quran has been corrupted. Like, the Quran Muhammad had, you don't have that Quran. That's the first point. Second point is, it is not true that today's Qurans are exactly the same. I wasn't mainly focusing on, because he was making a case, there is only one Quran, blah, blah, but also he was making a case, you've got 6,236 verses in the Quran, and in every Quran you've got 6,236 verses. And in that moment I did express he was lying, but I don't have internet on my phone, so I couldn't find a reference to show him. So what I thought is, tonight, if that's okay with you, we will be looking at today's Quran, which has missing verses in it. Okay? And I really do hope that's okay with you. Peace of Christ be with you, Fred. I do hope that's okay with you. If that's not okay, that's my plan. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. So, before we look at today's Quran, let me just summarize according to the Islamic tradition, what is missing. Those of you who've been watching us for a while, you would know there are minimum of 563 verses are missing. I'm not talking about the chapters which, when people died in the Battle of Yamama, they took with them. I'm not talking about like that gone chapters. I'm talking about chapters which people know it was missing and they expressed it was missing. So what I'm gonna do is, let me just remind you that I'm sorry if you don't like repetition. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm sorry about that. I apologize if you do not like repetition, but I think it will be good for us to just remember them before we move to the 1924 Quran. Okay, so let me see if I can share the screen. Bear with me, I'm working on practical side of it. This should be big enough for us to see. Can I get just quick confirmation that my screen can be seen? So I'm not dealing, in this session, I'm not dealing, claim is made by Muslims, dot by dot, letter by letter, sound by sound is exactly the same. I'm not dealing with that one. I'm simply focusing on, do we have exactly the same verses and same verse numbers in the today's Quran? Okay, today's Quran is 6,236 verses. When I say today's Quran, please remember I'm talking about 1924 Quran. But before we do that, let's go to 600s, and then let's see what Muslims were telling us in 600s, what's supposed to be in the Quran. Okay, so in 600s, Muslims are telling us, in 600s, Muslims are telling us, actually, there was a surah which we used to, it's not even we used to prolong, we used to recite. I can't remember all of it, okay? But I remember it was as long as Surah 9. But I cannot find them, he says. He cannot find that in 7th century Quran. And then also he says, he talks about surahs of Musahabit, that Surah 57, Surah 59, 61, 62, 64, 17, and goes on. There was surah look like those surah, but I cannot find them in today's Quran. So, please help me with maths. Okay? If Surah 9 contains 129 verses, this man can only remember one verse, okay? That means 128 verses are missing. And then also when we put all other small surahs together, that is 220 verses. Okay, so in this occasion, we've got 348 verses are missing, according to Muslims. According to Muslims, 348 verses are missing. So that's the first point. Second point, Surah 3, according to Muslims, okay, this is what early Muslims are telling me. Surah 3 supposed to be as long as Surah 2. Okay, Surah 2 is 286 verses, and Surah 33 is 73 verses. That means 213 verses is missing. Muslims are telling us those verses are missing. I cannot have access to those lovely verses. I know it was very long. It was as long as Surah Baqarah. Surah Baqarah is 286 verses, but I can't remember. And also I remember, like, part of that surah was talking about verse of stoning the adulteries. I cannot find them. So that makes 213 verses. And then we've got another verse talking about this Rajam verses. This is adultery verses. Those who committed adultery to be stoned. Those verses were revealed, practiced, but Muslims cannot find that in the Quran. This is the second Caliph Umar is expressing that. So that is like, let's put that one verse. And then the reason those verses couldn't be in the Quran, what happened? Because this holy, lovely, beautiful, one of the most clever and someone who's supposed to deserve in a spot on the throne of Allah comes and then eats those holy words of Allah. Okay? Therefore, they couldn't make into the Quran. So, let me just put side camera on because I need to do some maths. And I think I will need some of your help as we do some maths. So, I'm, as you notice, I am not looking at the verses which has already been told by Muslims that we do have those verses. They are revealed. People memorize those verses, but they died in the battle, and I cannot remember them. We are not talking about those verses. We are simply talking about the verses which has been. We are talking about the verses which people actively and intentionally expressing that those verses are not in the Quran. Okay, that's what we are gonna do. That's what we are gonna deal with. Let me see if you are able to see my note thing. Okay. No worries. What I've done was I've been very honest, and then I wrote it here. Okay. So we're supposed to have a surah which is supposed to be as long as Surah 9. Surah 9 is 129 verses. Okay. But person remembers only one verse, so I've been generous. I put here 128 verses. We've got another surah which they can't remember, but it was as long as approximately 220 verses, and that can't be found in the Quran. And then we've got Surah 33. This is for Surah 33. Supposed to be as long as Surah 2. Surah 2 is 286 verses. Surah 33 is currently 73 verses. That means 213 verses is missing. Okay? So let's calculate this. I'm not adding the Rajan verses. I'm like so generous. I'm very much generous. Very much generous. So please do help me with maths. Okay, let me write it big. Let's do that. 8 plus 0 makes what? 8. Plus 3 makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is 8. And then plus 3, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that makes 11. Let's write here 11. Keep the 1 on the side in case my maths would be awful, you know. So this is like you get 1-to-1 maths. You don't even have to pay for my maths classes, people. This is like free, okay? So here we've got 2. 2 plus 2 makes 1, 2 plus 1, 2 makes 4. Okay? Plus 1, you've got already 4. Plus 1 makes 5. Okay? And then also I had 1 from previous 10 here. That makes 6 actually. Wow. Okay? Let's write here 6. And then 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 makes 3. Plus 2, 4, and 5. Okay? So 561 verses so far. Plus Rajan verses. Okay? We don't know how many Rajan verses, but according to Sahih Bukhari, there is 4 pages talking about the Rajan verses. Okay? We just say, let's count that as 1. But I'm sure it is more than 1. But I'm not Allah. I don't know. Also, and then we've got the breastfeeding verses. That's another 1. Okay, breastfeeding. That makes altogether 500, 600, 563 minimum. Okay, minimum of 563 verses are missing so far. Only this is only what Muslims are telling us. What Muslims are telling us, okay? Of course, of course. Sorry about that. But also, while Muslims tell us that, we want to see what else early Muslims are telling us. According to early Muslims, satanic verses are in the Quran, 37 different Arabic Qurans. According to early Muslims, Abdullah bin Umar reported and said, "Let none of you say, none of you, I have got the whole Quran." How does he know what all of it is? Much of the Quran has gone. Much of the Quran has gone. Let him say instead, I have got what has survived. So, when he says, don't say I've got the whole Quran because much of the Quran has gone, he's not saying much of the Quran has gone to holiday, much of the Quran has gone to the shop, much of the Quran is returned back to Allah. He's saying apparently much of the Quran has gone with the people who memorize the Quran and they are not in today's Quran. Let people, none of you say, and then he says, let us say we've got what has survived. Okay? So, while early Muslims tells me, minimum 563 verses are missing, really missing. Those minimum 563 verses are not in today's Quran. Okay? So let's just remember those verses for the sake of us. Press the wrong place. Let's press in this one. So, one of those missing verses is eaten by sheep. This is our holy sheep. And okay, what I'm gonna do is, I think it needs to move to this way. So this is the sheep. Aisha comes and then Aisha sees sheep eat the Quranic verses. And today's Quran has left over it. Okay? Holy sheep. Like this sheep, I think deserves like golden medal or something. I'm sure this sheep deserves place in Islamic paradise, in Islamic garden, or even on the throne of Allah. But I strongly believe this sheep become a barbecue for lovely Muslims. Or on the other hand, so this is the verses sheep ate it. Oh, you are not able to see. This is like adult breast suckling verses, okay? Sahih Muslim just gives approximate 4 pages, and then also in Mutawata you've got a couple of pages just talking about adult breast suckling verses. So those verses are gone. Okay, let's just make that little bit more visual for all of you to remember. One of the verse has been gone is adult breast suckling. It was in the Quran. It was in the Quran, but it was eaten by lovely, beautiful, delightful sheep. Don't you love that sheep? I think all Muslim community love that sheep while sheep was while after they cooked the sheep and then they made barbecue of the sheep. So adult breast suckling verses are eaten by sheep. And then also stoning verses are eaten by ship. Here's the visual for you. Never forget this is where it takes place. Holiest place in this world. Holiest place. Those museums are just for them to come together. They are just need to go through certain things. Probably they forgot what this holy ship did. Anyway, so those verses are being eaten. Altogether 563 verses. Here's the current Quran. Here is the current Quran. One of the current Quran, of course. This is Hafs Quran, contains 6,236 verses. Okay, all together. How many verses? Let's write them down. Let's write them down. Today, it seems to me that you are gonna get free maths classes. 6,236 verses. Okay? How many verses? 6,236 plus, of course, 563, but we are not gonna deal with that. If we had them minimum, we would have 6,799 verses plus. Let none of you say I have the whole Quran. Okay? When it says whole Quran, he's not talking about the Quran which we looked at in the previous, where mouse comes and then makes holes in the Quran. Not mouse, actually, it's Akbar, but where Akbar comes and then makes hole in that Quran. We are not talking about that one. We are talking about, like, none of you say I've got the full Quran. Okay? So this is today's Quran. This is today's Quran, today's Hafs Quran, put together by Muslims. I didn't have time to write it. Muslims writes it and then it is given. Actually, I had to pay for this one. Or another version is here. This is another Hafs Quran. Both of them contains 6,236 verses. 6,236 verses. That's already miracle. Two Quran has exactly the same verses. But amazingly, I've got another Quran here. Okay? This Quran is being used by Quran only Muslims. I didn't have internet on Sunday to show it to Muslims, but this Quran is being used by Quran only Muslims. You know the Quran only Muslims who's got lots of problem with what Muhammad did to humanity. Therefore, they don't accept any hadith. They simply follow Quran alone. You can make lots of arguments on that, but that's where we are gonna go from that. We just take what they are saying. So this is Quran only Muslim Quran. This is Hafs Quran. Okay. So when you go to Quran Hafs Quran, come to Surah 9. Okay. Sorry, I have to find the Surah 9 now. Oh, I made a mistake. No, I didn't make a mistake, sorry. So, Surah 9, I'm sure you are able to see it, okay? Surah 9 is 129 verses. Surah 9 is 129 verses. Okay? In current Quran. Of course, you can even make a theological case. Surah 9 verse 128 and 129 is actually Muhammad is sharing the names of Allah, but that's not I'm gonna focus on. So those two verses were edited into Quran by only one person's testimony. Okay? When Quran was being put together, Muslims um, they find only one person who remembered Surah 9, verse 128 and 129. Therefore, Zayd bin Thabit edited into the Quran. Okay, when they put the Quran together, there was only one person who remembered last two verses of Surah 9, verse 128 and 129, and also Surah 33, verse 23, and then they edit that into the Quran. Those verses made into the Quran, only one person's testimony. Of course, when you hear from apostate Islamic Dawah team regarding isnad and perfect preservation stuff, the moment they say isnad, all you need to remember is no one knows who are those people, okay? List made up like much later. That's another topic. But, so, these two verses gets into the Quran only by one person's testimony, okay? Kazuma. And then Zayd bin Thabit writes it down. And then he expressed, only this person knew it, therefore I write it down. Let me show you the slide for that, so that you see, visualize it, get the reference, and then that will help you to remember. It's not... Okay, I've got to find it now. Okay, it's gonna go down probably. Apparently there are like 491 slides. No, actually, this one is long, lots of slides. Okay, here's the slide. Share screen. So here's our Quranic verse, okay? Surah 9, verse 128 and 129 was known only by one person while Zayd bin Thabit was hunting, searching, digging around to find the people who memorized the full Quran. And then this person turns up, Abi Khuraizma and Ansari turns up and then says, oh, by the way, I remember end of Surah 9, verse 100, Surah 9, let me give you the references, and then that makes into Quran. One person's testimony. By the way, if you think about more practically, today, we do not know who passed Surah 4, verse 157. Today, we don't know who passed Surah 5, verse 116, Surah 571 to 73, those big deal verses where Allah makes lots of mistakes. We don't know who passed them around. But what we saw, according to Sahih Bukhari tells us those two verses made into the Quran only by one person's testimony. Okay, so it is in this Quran. Oh, sorry, I thought I was sharing the screen. It is in this Hafs Quran. Okay, it is in this Hafs Quran. See it again? It's here. Okay, you can see on the top it says Surah 9, and the next page is summary of Surah 10. You can see it. It's all there. This verse is like full shirk, but sadly I don't want to get distracted by shirk of Islam. So it's in this Quran. And then let's go to the Quran only Muslims Quran. Ready, people? This is the Quran only Muslims Quran. It finishes in okay, it needs to be like this, I think. Okay, just a moment, people. Okay, it's gonna go here. Okay, better. So, Surah 9 verse 127. That's where the verse stops. And then he gives you the reasons why, actually, and he tells you, oh, in the traditional account you will see there are 129 verses, but we reject them. We reject them, he says. Today's Quran is missing with 2 verses in this Quran. And then he expressed why he rejects them. In case you are not believing into me, here's the next page. And next page starts from verse chapter 10 after Surah 9. After Surah 9, it is Surah 10. And according to Quran, only Muslims, this verse should not be there at the first place. So, one Quran is 6,000. Where is the book? Notebook is here. If one Quran is 6,236 verses, if one Quran is 6,236 verses, and then other Quran has 2 verses missing, how many verses in the other Quran? Is it exactly the same? When you take away 2 from 6,236, is it still 6,236? Or the number is different? And good thing is none of us needs to be Einstein, because this has already been confirmed. Number is going to be different. It's going to be 6,234 verses. Quran only Muslims has different verses in their Quran, and Sunni or Shiites have different verses. Of course, I'm not even touching how some versions of the Quran has verse numbering is different. Some Qurans include Bismillah as part of the revelation. Some people don't include that. So, you see my problem? Actually, it's not my problem. It is the problem of Muslims. But there is a problem. So, even today's Quran, by Quran only Muslims versus by Sunni Muslims, they are different. They are different. And I am not one who put those differences together. I'm not the one who write them. It is the Quran they are using. And worst thing is, like, I didn't even express it to you, but like when you come to the Quran only Muslims Quran, in chapter 30, verse 1 or 2, I think. Chapter 30, verse 2 has been, you can, oh sorry, you can't see my. So chapter 30 verse 2 has been translated as the Romans have won, versus if you look at the current Quran, you will see actually it says they have been defeated. There is a huge theological problem, and even historical problem. Did they won the battle or did they got defeated? But there are lots of other issues on Surah 33, but that was not my focus. That was not my focus. So, all I wanted to show you that I am holding in my possession not only 37 different Arabic Qurans, but sorry. Not only 37 different Arabic Qurans, but I am holding in my possessions Qurans which has missing verses in it. And early Muslims were holding in their possession and in their mind, in their oral tradition, there were the Qurans in their possession, in their mind, in their possession, has missing chapters. That's all the case I wanted to do. So let me turn to chat and then see what's happening in chat. Anyone has any comments, any question, or anyone wants to challenge my maths, please do that. Or if anyone wants to challenge Hafs Quran, this is the moment you could do that. Of course, another side note is you will get to hear apostate Islamic Dawah team is gonna say, oh, at the end of his life, Muhammad recited the Quran to angels, and today's Quran is what Muhammad recited to the angels. Please, people, beloved ones, don't fall into that trap. That is a lie. There is no any eyewitnesses can tell you what, first of all, Muhammad recited to angel and what angel said, okay. There is no any eyewitnesses to that. Also, please remember, it is early Muslims who are just telling you those verses part of the revelation. We can't find them. So if Muhammad recited Quran back to the angel Gabriel, why this stupid Muhammad forgot to tell his ummah, oh, by the way, just a correction, you wouldn't have the rest of Surah 33, you wouldn't have the rest of this Surah, you will be missing like whole chapters of the Quran, don't make big deal. But he didn't do that. He wanted to keep it to himself. That's why it is wonderful. It is wonderful. Okay, let me go to the chat. If anyone has any comment, if anyone has any question, this is the moment you can do so. And for you to do that, please put @ in front of DCCI Ministries. That should get my attention. I can't believe Brother K thinks like angels were able to read and write. Come on, brother. Muhammad couldn't read and write. Do you think angels were able to do so? That makes angels better than Muhammad. And you wouldn't want to say that because Muslims would be very much offended with that. So the informations we are getting from the informations I'm sharing with you regarding those verses are missing, that comes from all Islamic tradition. So if you think Sahih Bukhari is one of the earliest one compiled before 870, that's approximately 250 years after death of Muhammad, and then it comes after that. But what we see is early Muslims were discussing those issues. It is said, I am stepping in as a Christian to remind those things to Muslims, because not only to Muslims but also apostate Islamic Dawah team, because they should know it is in their Islamic tradition. All you've got to do is just check them out, read what your Islamic tradition is telling. But because they are not doing that, therefore I am just the one who steps in to do that, and it is not very nice, of course. The Arabic Quran can't be translated. Why? Why? Because the moment when you translate the Arabic Quran, you get to see how awful Allah's Arabic. You get to see how awful angel made a job to pass that to Muhammad. Of course Muslims are gonna say that. Why? Because they know their Quran has I forgot that word, narrative of the Quran has holes in it, so therefore they wouldn't want to translate the word of Allah. If that's the case, actually I'd love to know why I've got this English translation. And not only this English translation, in my possession, I've got like over 25 different English translation of the Quran. And those differences are like so awfully translated. Oh well, daughter of Christ, if angels were able to communicate, if angels had a good grammar, good Arabic knowledge, once you pass the information, you would do the grammar corrections. Like if I write something, when I pass that to a brother or sister, they would step in and say, oh, you need to change this grammar to make it sense of it. So either angels are playing stupid or angels don't know Arabic or don't understand, they just like passing. And poor Muhammad, when he passed it around, he couldn't even translate it, or he couldn't even verbalize it correctly. It's just simply messed up. I don't know. Of course it is mistranslated. Of course it is mistranslated. Muslims translate it. If Muslims are lying to, those are Muslim sources. If those hadiths were mistranslated, that means your Muslim scholars, people who are making money with those translations, those people who are getting behind the cameras and making those statements have been lying to you. And why are you using my YouTube channel to express that? Go and tell them. Go and ask your people who translated Sahih Bukhari. Muhsin Khan. Go and tell him why he was lying and misrepresenting. Why are you telling me? All I'm doing is reading what they translated. If you cannot even trust what your Muslim scholars translated, I am the last person you should be telling that. This honesty of Muslim scholars is scream all over them, written all over them with the capital letters. 26 Qurans are 26 different Arabic Qurans. Whatever word you want to use that, there are different Arabic Qurans, dear happy birthday. And I don't want to crush your birthday, but maybe this birthday you will learn something. I don't know if there are more Arabic Qurans, but we know in history of Islam, people are talking about different Arabic Qurans were circulating around. They are talking about 50 different Arabic Qurans were circulating around. And I think it's not if there are more Qurans out there or not. For me, even if there is one Quran out there, one Quran that is different, one Quran that is different from Hafs Quran, that is all matter to me, because Muslim claims, Muslim missionaries, apostate Islamic Dawah team, apostate sheikhs, Muslim sheikhs are saying it's all the same. All for me, one extra Quran is more than enough. All those extra 36 of them, just my God has been gracious to me, and in somehow He placed me in a places where that can be seen. And by the way, Quran is being like used by many Muslims, and we do have Muslims who comes to Speakers Corner. They are Quran only Muslims. I don't know what is dialect you are talking about, because there was no dialect. There cannot be written version of the dialect in time of Muhammad. It is just Allah's stability or Muhammad's stability to give different versions of the Quran. It is Muslim scholars are telling we don't know what is ahruf. So you are talking about ahruf, they are not dialects. And no one knows what is ahruf. Allah knows best, and Allah has not shared that information with people. And whatever those ahrufs were, whatever it was, according to Muslim tradition, it was Uthman got rid of it all once for all. We shouldn't have any ahruf because Uthman got rid of it. And other practical thing is, like, if you think carefully, if there are people in your class and they cannot read and they don't have basic knowledge of Arabic, they do is memorize the things. Easiest way for you to deal with them is simply you teach them one version. 2 plus 2 makes 4. You don't teach them 2 plus 2 maybe 4. You don't teach those things. You say 2 plus 2 makes 4. Roses are red. You don't say roses are elephant. You cannot say, oh, people, this side of the class, you recite from now on, roses are red, but for you, this side of the people, please from now on recite roses are elephant. It would make more sense if everyone goes with the same thing. But whatever that ahruf, they're not dialects, whatever that ahruf, which no one knows what it is, Uthman got rid of it. Uthman got rid of it, and there is a class run by Sheikh Yasir Qadi. If anyone has like a couple of £1,000, please do take that class. It will be very helpful for you. All you will get from that class is like, we don't know what is ahruf. We don't know how does qiraat make sense. But if you've got money and you think you wanna give it to people and you feel Islamic Dawah team is hunting for money, please use it for that good purpose. You will take a class and all you will get from that class is Allah knows best. Allah knows best. Or other thing you will get from that class is actually don't ask questions. Those are the pressing questions people are asking us, but all we do is we just Allah knows best and we ignore that. But that doesn't mean like you shouldn't be supporting I don't know if there is a website that you can get access to different versions of the Quran, but I am assuming there will be, like, there are physical books like Bridges translation of the 10 Qur'an. That's they already translated to English. I put it here. I can put that link to the description if you want to see. That's like where Muslim is making a case that because Arabic is different between different Arabic Qurans. Therefore, when you translate that word, because its Arabic is already different, therefore in the translation it is also different. And you can just use that book. It is put together by Muslims. Other option is, if you tell me a little bit more about who you are. Your logo says Mormon. If you are Mormon, I cannot help you. But if you are evangelist, Trinitarian, Christian, drop me email and then I'll see if I can send you some of the examples. Okay, I'm already behind of the comments. Sister, I really don't want to be mean, but it seems to me that as they are lying intentionally and they are putting everything under the carpet, okay? One day, and that day is already happening, tsunami or earthquake is gonna take place in Islamic world, in Muslim world. When that earthquake, when that tsunami takes place, which is already happening, therefore, like, we get to see the results of that. That carpet which they put everything under it is gonna expose. It's gonna turn over, and everything they hide under that carpet is gonna bring big mess, not to only to the individual but to whole household. And that is a good thing. Once there is a big mess in whole household, you know what happens next? They will turn to their sheikhs. They are gonna say, I trusted you, why did you lie to me? They will turn their imams. They will say, I trusted you, but you lied to me. They will turn their apostate dawa gangs, and then they will say, I trusted you, but you lied to me. And finally, they will turn their mothers and their fathers, and then they will say, I trusted you, you lied to me, I don't want to do anything with you. And that is a good day. So everything is under that carpet. That carpet is gonna be shaken by Sheikh Google, by Islamic Dawah team, and all others. Yes, Ibn Masud, Ubay bin Ka'b, Zayd bin Thabit, they all had different Qurans. They had different chapter numbers and different verses in their Quran. Ubay bin Ka'b had 116 verses, versus Ibn Masud had 111 verses in their Quran. And remember, Ubay bin Ka'b is the one who doubted in the revelation which Muhammad gave it to him. Hafs Quran are narrated from Ibn Masud or Ubay bin Ka'b, but not from Uthman. It's not about those Qurans are being narrated from the same people. So even in the Hafs Quran, I've got all those chains, like I did work out their dates, all those kind of things. Just essential for you to remember. Those names appear a couple of centuries after the Quran. Okay? This person, it's so-called isnad, okay? Those people who narrated the Quran, those names appears a couple of centuries after. That's first point. Second point is, just take the example of Hafs Quran. Hafs Quran is being narrated, is in the isnad of Hafs Quran. You've got Ubay bin Ka'b as well as Ibn Masud and Zayd bin Thabit. So those three people in the Hafs Quran. But there is a problem, because those three people were disagreeing with what's supposed to be in the Quran, and Ibn Masud had his hip broken because he was fighting for his Quran. So those names are just nobody and nothing, because those people were fighting with one another what's supposed to be in the Quran. How can it be in the Hafs Quran? How did they compromise? Oh, they compromise. You've got 111, I've got 116. Let's go with the middle 114. Is that the compromise of the word of Allah? Husband and wife even doesn't do that much compromise. Yet in somehow those people took that from same people. That's already, that stupid thing called isnat is already like awfully bad, like really, really bad. And there is no defense for that. They are just bunch of names. They are bunch of names, and no one kind of puts together like deal with those holes. Okay, I'm very much behind of the comments, so I think what I will do is this is not linked with the topic, but yes, Sana manuscripts or other manuscripts has been compared, but Sana manuscripts has only like Sana palimpsest has only 73 verses, or Topkapı Musaf is missing verses. Earliest complete Quran would be late 9th century, and it is not the same Quran, exactly the same Quran we are reading, but for the surah numbers, that's the earliest complete Quran. You do have manuscripts, but they are not, they don't have the full verses. Even these big chunks of the Quran, like for example Cairo manuscripts, um, Ali's Musaf, British Museum Musaf, Topkapı Musaf, all those ones do not contain the same number of the verses for people to compare. Missing verses. It's called Miracle of Islam. Yes, there is I didn't touch it, but yes, there is a hadith. Muhammad is praising individuals for reminding him what was the word of Allah. Muhammad had very bad memory. Like, I think he didn't take any pills or any brain gymnastic or anything. He had very, very bad memory. Look, I'm so proud of this person. She just tells us how come 2 plus 2 makes 37. That's what imams are teaching, I guess. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure if there are any other questions that link with the topic, we could answer them. Erkin, beside this one, also remember he says there are pressing questions we need to answer, but don't answer them, come to my class. Okay, I think we will stop here because I'm already behind the comments. I get the behind comments quite often. I need to improve my reading skills. We are not on Facebook. Please send email to info@dcciministries.com if you've got anything that needs to be handled, or you need help, or you think there is a way we can serve you. Please simply email info@DCCI Ministries. We've got problem with freedom of speech to be practiced on Twitter, and then also we are not on Facebook at this stage. Okay, I think I will just move to the end of the comments because I was so much behind. So anyway, that's all I wanted to do tonight. That not only in early stages of Islam that they had different not only early stages of Islam they had missing chapters and verses in the Quran, but in 2017 I'm holding two different Qurans with different chapters and different verses. And this Quran is being used by many Muslims, and very soon, of course I'm not God, I don't see the future stuff, but what it seems to me that some of the Islamic Dawah team or apostate Islamic Dawah team, as they come across with how disturbing and disgusting what Muhammad did, they are just simply trying to pull themselves away from Sahih Hadiths, those people who discredit the Sahih Hadiths. As they start discrediting the Sahih Hadiths, they will become Quran only Muslims. Once they become Quran only Muslims, they will be going by this. Not by this, but by this. That's what's gonna happen, it seems to me, in the future. On that note, let me just once again say huge thank you those of you who stayed until end and who's been watching us. Thank you very much for joining me. We hope to see you on another live stream tomorrow or Saturday, or if that doesn't happen, we do hope to see you at Speaker's Corner. Of course, if that doesn't happen, we will see you at the bosom of the Father. Beloved ones, may my risen Lord silence you with his love. And those of you who don't know my risen Lord, please repent so that you can see how delightful, how awesome, how beautiful my risen Lord. God bless you all.